Well, it's been a long time since the last time you saw this puffy face in the internet, isn't it? It took me quite some time to decide if I was doing the right thing by uploading this one. But the truth is, the more I tried to edit this in another way, the worse I felt. I believe there is a huge power in honoring your lessons throughout your journey. I often talk with my friends and family about the power of vulnerability, and yet it felt like I couldn't get myself to open up about something that made me feel so vulnerable. So, after a long time, I feel like I'm ready to honor this part of it too. 2020 was a hell of a year, depending on how you look at it. Some people benefited from the pandemic, some got tested to their limits, and others lost someone irreplaceable under very difficult circumstances. And I got to experience it all. I tried, I did. I got benefited, and I also lost unconditional love. But what is unconditional love? Who comes to your mind when thinking about these words? To me, a few people fall under this category. Last year, I lost one of them to COVID, and even though I briefly spoke about it on my Insta back then when I felt like it was necessary due to the anti-COVID protest here where I live, I didn't say that I lost my first fatherly figure. Someone whose memories are attached forever to my heart. The same person who gave me unconditional love during my entire childhood. The same love who built a part of who I am today. Unconditional love givers are core of yourself. Who you are today is directly attached to what you have been receiving from this group of people. In other words, let's say you're a skyscraper. In order for you to be where you are today, you needed a solid foundation. The construction work for you to have a robust base is what the people who give you unconditional love provide. Unchanging and with no limitations, love from them to you, so that one day you become a better skyscraper than they ever were. I guess that's the reason why losing is so hard, because it's already part of you and you become an extension of someone else's unconditional love. Since the day we're born, we know death is the only thing we have guaranteed. We don't know when, where, how, or why, but we know it'll come. Back then, the question I got asked the most was if I feel sad that I didn't get to say goodbye. And to be really honest with you, no, that didn't make me sad. This question also made me realize a couple of important things. One, the idea of a goodbye is messed up, and you should respect it. If we know how unpredictable and limited our life and time is in this reality, why do we think that the last minutes, days, weeks of someone whose life is slowly or rapidly ending are the space where you say all you haven't said to this person before? That's when I realized I have been doing something I'm actually really proud of for a long time. I got to go through my memories and interactions with him, and I remember that back then, every single talk was full with I love yous back and forth. So even though I didn't get this farewell, goodbye moment with him, I always gave him the best of me and nothing less. I realized that if he was to remember me on the hospital, I knew he would remember all of the times I showed him that he is loved and respected. And I was sure that he would remember his Snow White with a smile on his face. The hardest part, at least for me, was not being able to hear whatever, and by whatever, I mean whatever, he needed or wanted to say. I didn't care about what I had to say anymore. Didn't matter anymore. I just wanted him to know that outside, there were people who were just holding on to hope and love for him. So I just wanted him to be listened to be able to give him at least that back. I know people who end up regretting things they did or say to someone, or in the worst case, at least to me, the things they didn't do or say to someone but deep down wanted to. When it comes to these unconditional love givers, it feels like there will never be enough amount of words or things you could say or do to thank them for giving without expecting anything back from you. But there's actually so much you can do to show them, to give them something to remember. That takes us to number 2. Give the best of you, like if it was the last time. I know it sounds horrible to think every single time that it could be the last time, but to be real with you, death is like a very reckless person that comes when he wants and does whatever she feels like doing and leaves you on a hole and continues her path to repeat the cycle. But before she goes, she waves at you, saying, "Till we meet again." So don't hang on to the idea that you will get to say goodbye. If that's your desire, I really hope it comes true for you, but there's really no guarantee that that's gonna happen. If you give the ones you love the best of you, then you are already a few steps ahead. So what would you say to the people that you love while giving them the best version of yourself? Who would you call more often? I didn't have these thoughts on life, death, or grief a few months ago. It took me a lot of months to process it all. Some days I felt like I didn't know myself anymore. Other days I stupidly thought to myself like, okay, I feel like I'm over it now. But there's nothing like moving on from loss. You just move forward with it. When the news hit me, I felt so out of energy. I remember telling my best friend that this time I just wanted to sink and stop and then sink even deeper. So in that moment, I told myself that I will allow myself to feel everything in hopes it will go away faster. A waterfall of memories and emotions took over. A voice telling me the could've, should've, would've had the nice job of making me face the most harmful of thoughts. Even though I knew all of these speculations were just nothing but nonsense, since there was nothing I could have possibly done to change the outcome. So the more I sank and forgot about the things that made me who I am today, like how much I love being outside, practicing sports, drawing, cooking, painting, singing, being with my friends, the more I wanted to reach me again. The loss of unconditional love is like when your skyscraper gets bumped right into the base. You just can't ignore the pain. Even though they aren't physically here anymore, their love lives within you. So you're basically an extension of their love. So honor it. In other words, love never dies, it transforms. So let's go back to basic physics. Energy can only be transformed. The law of conservation of energy states that energy can neither be created nor destroyed, only converted. The only way to use energy is to transform energy. I learned this powerful lesson on my first relationship with my first love, but that's literally for another video. I was the type of person who always said everything happens for a reason. And during this introspection time, I couldn't get myself to believe it. I couldn't get myself to say his death was something that needed to happen, because in reality, I thought the whole situation was unfair. I felt like it was unfair that he had to go through it like that without seeing or talking to no one. So, do I still believe everything happens for a reason? Yes, I do, and the reason is called life. You see, life is like a grapefruit, or like a chocolate with 95% of cacao. It's the best bittersweet gift. We come here knowing nothing, but wanting to know it all. If we're lucky, we get to see how big the world is and its problems. But even so, we fall for life until we meet death. And she shocks you, because she's part of the bitter on this journey, while life is the sweet. And it becomes even sweeter after you have met death. It's hard to imagine it, and I'll be lying to you if I said that while going through it all, I thought that life was sweeter, when in reality, I just couldn't see the end of it. But guess what? Life does get sweeter. You can't see it now, but you will. You will fall in love with it again. And this time, you will appreciate it more. Guaranteed. Because life becomes full circle, whether you are able to see it or not. When I was a kid, he used to film us doing pretty much everything. I didn't get it back then. I thought to myself the whole time, like, why would someone want to capture 2 kids doing nothing extraordinary, just playing around, singing, fighting, opening Christmas presents, and blowing candles on a birthday? 10 years later, watching those videos with him when we were still teenagers brought us all to laugh on how silly, innocent, annoying we were as kids, and how sweet life was. Now, I don't know if I'll be able to laugh if I rewatch the videos again. Probably yes, with some tears in my eyes, listening to his voice that I miss. But now I do get it. You capture moments that will be there forever. Later, you will be able to look at them and travel back in time. And that's the beauty of video and film. But why making a video about something so personal? Well, let's say I'm doing something that my future self will be proud of. Being realistic, I know that I would probably go through this at least 2 more times in my lifetime. So I'll be able to see that I've been there before. And hopefully this serves me as a guide in the future. With that being said, I only have to thank the people around me for your support. To all of the ones who try to distract me, even though I want to confront it and deal with it, especially to the ones who haven't gone through it. Thank you. And thank you too for listening. I hope this might help in some way or form, now or in the future. With that being said, see you all in the next one. Bye.
Look up at the sky, ask it why are you always so far? Never thought that I needed light. counting every day. No, I'm not okay. I just wanna say I need